No.
We're gonna start every show
with a niner.
With
he
a
said,
niner.
"Can I get a niner in there?" I'll bet you could, Russo.
I feel like that was a joke precluding to my sexuality, like Brady. Tom Brady was thrown into the gay mud in that epic. How did this group of four? How many people? And in the comments, if you watched it, how many people watched the Brady roast?
I've seen clips.
I've seen clips, and I thought it was hilarious. I gotta
they
watch
cooked
the
that
whole
boy,
thing.
man. From the clips I've seen, they cooked him.
They cooked everybody. Please, for the love of God, watch all of it. It is everything that is right with this world. And even Kevin Hart said it at one point. He's like, we haven't been able to do this in years because people are so afraid to say things and whatever. They said things that I wouldn't even be able to say if I was on Rumble. And I'm like, that's what I'm talking about. All right, ladies and gents. What's that?
You know what? You know where you could say everything that you want to say, Russo? Like
I'm guessing pill.net.
Pill.net, baby. Yes. Amazing.
Guys, do me a favor, hit the like button, hit the share button, do all things. We've got a special guest with us this week. It's Casey's friend from the from the Twitterverse, from the Xverse, for the spaces. They fill each other's spaces. It sounds very homoerotic. I don't know what happens there. Freedom4us4all is his handle. He is a fearless Twitter, aka X Warrior. How do you say it? He's an X Warrior. That sounds like you used to be. Whatever. Free. Welcome to the program. Go ahead and introduce yourself to everybody.
Thanks, Anthony. Yeah, I'm Free. I'm out on X. I do a Spaces show called Freedom Forum with Terry and Based, and we're kind of big in the libertarian world right now. We've been doing a bunch of libertarian presidential candidates. In the real world, I'm a software guy, but I do a lot on X with content and art and memes and getting a lot of trouble on X. So that's kind of how I found Casey.
How do you get in trouble on X? I feel like, Casey did get kicked off of X. So, you got to do some pretty special stuff. You got to do some Rob Gronkowski stuff on there. Cash, can you do me a favor and tell people to like and share this video the way that you do?
No, I refuse. I'm protesting silently.
Well, that's all we need of that. We've now lost our token.
Yes, everybody, if you could do us a favor, please like this video a whole bunch of times right now. We got a couple people that's on here watching, more than a couple, actually. If you could do us a favor and like this video and then share this video out on all your social media platforms, that would be great because the algorithm is killing us. And what's up to my cousin Joseph Matthews in the comments section?
You actually know this guy?
That's my big cousin. He helped raise me.
He looks like he's a white.
He is. You know, a funny story before we get going. When I went down to Florida, we went to the gas station. And all his people, he knows everybody in the town because he owns one of the largest fencing businesses out in his part of Florida. And I go there and he goes in to pay for the gas and I start pumping the gas and he comes out and all these people are watching. I go, I was pumping the gas like a good boy, massa. I apologize if it's taking long. His face turned red because my cousin's he's not a racist at all. But Florida, you got a couple of everybody down there. And his face turns so red, and he goes, "You motherfucker! I can't believe you just don't beat me." That's what I said. Don't beat me.
See, that's good. It's humor. It's people enjoying their time, enjoying their life. We've got a lot of stuff to talk about, which we will get into in just a minute. I'd like to let more people join. What I'm noticing is the numbers growing, but the thumbs up and the hearts and the likes and all that stuff, that's not. So guys, go ahead and smash the heart button, like button, wherever you're watching from. Usually takes right about now is where the numbers start to go up. So we're going to let that happen as they come in.
I think the hearts only come in from Facebook. And
to answer your question though, if you go under my highlights on X, you can see all the different ways I got in trouble. But the biggest one recently is when they were trying to keep Trump off the ballot. I went hard after Maine and Colorado and was calling them names. And I made a postcard of Maine with Nazi flags. And I called the postcard Maine Kampf. And I sent it to everybody I could think of in Maine and got reported like a gazillion times and got suspended for 7 days. And so, you still can get in trouble. You just have to be a little bit more creative.
I'm going to try it. I'm going to try it.
From a black man's account, would you be able to say it? Maybe that's the question. Or I'm half Jewish.
I don't think on here, sir. I resent that. Even though I resemble that, I resent that because I'm just a darker skinned American.
Yes, we know, Cash. You're
Yeah.
the hero. You're the
We're
hero.
gonna
We
stop
didn't
it. And
know.
we're gonna start it on this show. We're gonna stop it. We're gonna stop using color. You're not white, Russo. You are a very light yellow. Looks like today, like
Beige?
a little
It
bit of
is
jaundice
beige.
going on.
My color's a little
Yeah,
off.
jaundice. That's what that is. You're a jaundice colored. And yeah, my man Casey is peach colored. You know, a light peach. You know, and my man down there got the good tan. My man Free, he got the good tan going on. You know, he's a nice olive color.
Right.
So we're gonna get away from using colors to talk about people.
I always say I like
talking
to be
to
called
Americans.
sun-kissed honky. Like that's my tone, you know.
That
like
would be a handle. That's the handle that you need
That
right
is.
there.
My cousin is
Everybody
too.
check him out at Sunkissed Honky.
I like that.
I'm lucky that wasn't my handle because, like I say, that Free is my given nickname. Like I didn't pick it. Like that's just what everybody calls me and has called me for all this time. So I'm lucky my name wasn't like Garbage Government or something like, you know, because then everybody call me Garbage.
Hot government. All right. We got a lot of stuff to talk about on the show. This is obviously episode 1. It's still not in their case. I just realized it's not in my overlay.
Here,
Good
I
job,
will pull
Russo.
up-
You started the show without
There
putting it
you
in there.
go.
Good job.
Well, Casey's the one that made it.
Done.
So here's what we got. Join us as we do a deep dive. We've got a whole bunch of stuff going on. We have obviously our special guest on the show. We're going to be talking about a wide range of stuff, including the quote unquote ceasefire that was rejected by Israel. We're going to be talking about the Trump trial, the other Trump trials, maybe even mention a little bit about the Brady roast, talk about the Jack Smith portion of the trial, because there's some stuff going on there, and pretty much anything else that manages to come up. And we have a few things to talk about. So that's what we got going on. That's today's episode. Again, like it, share it, do all things with it. Before we get into it, so tomorrow, who uses honky anymore? You know what, Judy? Who names their kid Judy anymore? How about that? How about that, Judy? Just kidding, Judy. I do look a
But that's
little
what makes it
orange.
funny. Like that's where I was going with the honky, you know.
See,
Yeah.
I'd prefer Cracker. Can we just go back to using Cracker on a daily basis, please?
Why not? Why not?
I think you can only use honky with jive. Jive honky, right? Is that?
No, that's jive turkey. You're mixing up the lingo.
Oh, maybe that's it.
God, that's too much whiteness on the show.
I like saying crickety ass cracker.
Yeah. Yeah, it's out of my
I used
range.
to call my mom when I would get mad at her.
What'd you call
Like,
her?
you're grounded. I'm like, I ain't grounded, you crickety ass cracker.
For saltine American. I like that. That's good. All right, guys. So a couple things before we start the show. We'll obviously do ad stuff as we go. Tomorrow is my speaking course, my free speaking class. If anybody wants to jump on, Cash misses most weeks because he doesn't love me or care about me. He might be on this weekend. Casey, the ultimate support. But if you want to get better at speaking and you just want to have fun with us, it's going to be a fun, interactive class. Go to doubledownspeaking.com, just like this. It's in the comments. And then, of course, tonight, Cash, tell them what we're doing after the show.
I'm gonna go in there and make an Italian sausage and put some Chicago style Gennaro peppers. What do we got going on? I'm just joking.
Okay.
7:30 be on with us so we can talk to you about Freedom Box. Russo's face dropped.
I'm like, seriously, trust me, I have other places to be if we're not doing it.
Oh God, I'm just joking. Yeah, 7:30 Central Standard Time, right after Truth. You guys can come on over. Fill out the job form at freedomboxinfo.com if you want to learn how to shop American and help take America back from the commies.
Facts.
And this is where we would typically do an intro song, but every single one of them gets dinged no matter what. So we're just going to go ahead and get right into it right now. Let's first talk about today's Trump trial with again, why we're having. Can I ask the question? I'm going to pose this question. We, of course, have the Stormy Daniels hush money case. So is this a trial to essentially see that he just cheated on his wife? Is that really is that why we're all of our attention is focused on this?
I guess so is what it's looking like. And to answer your question in the comments, yes, you can.
Yes.
This
Bring
is
them.
the one.
Bring
But
them.
yeah, that's essentially all it is. They're just trying to, number one, stop his momentum with the campaign. You know, they don't want him moving around a lot. They want him distracted. They want other people looking at everything else that is going on with his life other than him crushing it in the polls, which again, that just came out. I don't know if you guys are aware of that. But yeah, it's just a distraction. That's really all it comes down to. Look he's a bad guy. He cheated on his wife. Stop it. Stop it. She had it coming and everyone knows it.
Literally. I don't understand how this is a trial, how Stormy Daniels is a part of this hush money case. She is literally just testifying stuff that means nothing towards her own actual case. That today, the fact that the defense allowed this to go on, I think what they were doing was they were trying to set a trap, because all this information should be worthy of a mistrial, because now it's a character assassination. It's salacious details is what you would call it. Salacious details about their affair. This is about hush money, not an affair. So now they've painted an unfair picture. They did start to say like, hey, let's stop this. And it was too late. And apparently the judge is like, not enough. Some things were said that shouldn't have been, but that's, I think it's ridiculous. Free, you're our guest. We haven't even let you talk. What do you think about this trial?
Well, I mean, it's not even the hush money, right? It's the check. It's the $30,000 check or whatever it is that it was not accounted for correctly is really the charge. So it's not even that it was hush money. It was that it was a business check that was not in the accounting the right way. So it's another one of those victimless, nobody, it's not that taxes weren't paid. It's not anybody was ripped off. Somebody wasn't paid back. It was just, which column it was in type thing.
Mm-hmm.
That's the straws they're grasping at this point. So it's absolutely insane.
Is it saying it's because it was in the campaign fund or because it was in his business fund?
Business. It was the business fund.
So this is obviously a huge deal because it's an ex-president. They're making it a huge deal. How often is this done? And are we going to start arresting and having trial for all of these businessmen that have given shut up money to their mistresses? I think that this is
like Mr. Bill Clinton.
Absolutely insane that this is even a trial, above and beyond the fact that today with Stormy Daniels is complete garbage. But like the whole thing is absolutely ridiculous. Casey.
Well, it's exactly the same as like last week. I'm sorry. It's exactly the same as what you were talking about last week with the OnlyFans woman that got the money from Biden. Any single thing like that is exactly the same as this. So like literally anything that's in the wrong box and that was campaign fund. So that's actually worse than what Trump did here. Mm-hmm. So like anything that you put in a box on a tax form, on an election form, on a campaign form, any of those could be litigated like this in, like this political litigation thing.
It's stupid. Go ahead.
Yeah, when it comes down to this whole thing, the important part to realize is they're trying to pull all of the strings to attack Trump for things that all of the others that are doing that they don't want to accuse. They did the same thing with the whole Mar-a-Lago. They wanted to fine him for $500 million when they knew he only had $400 million in cash. They keep trying to push him to the limits to where he can't handle it anymore. But the part that they don't understand is more they push on that pedal to go against Donald Trump, it gains him 10 million followers and supporters. If they would just shut their mouth, they would actually make some progress in turning Trump down. But no, they're not going to. And so it's their own fault. It's their own fault.
Nobody paying to see Stormy Daniels on OnlyFans.
There's some people into some weird stuff and feet and weird crap. But anyways, so here's the next question, because you've got, and I think that there's like, what's the distraction here? And I mean, the fact that all over the news today was this trial, period, ignoring that what just happened in Israel and Gaza and in that area is kind of a big deal, because Israel took over a different, what's it called, Rafah. They took over Rafah, which is densely populated. They did give days warning to get out. They took over that area, and now you've got a ceasefire being called for, which again being missed. It's the cease. You can't be getting your ass kicked and still fighting, and then ask for a ceasefire and not give everything that the other side wants. That's not how a ceasefire works. But we'll get into that in a second. But that's not even barely being touched on nor covered right now. We're only seeing Stormy Whore Daniels as the main story. And honestly, whore Trump too. They're all whores in this. They are all hookers. They all have their flaws. But I'm wondering if here's the deal. Here's the deal, guys. So Trump has now got his 10th contempt of court. He's now $10,000 in fines. People are saying the judge might actually put him in jail. I have my opinions. What are your guys' opinions on if that happens, or will that happen, or what will happen if that happens? Cash?
If they put him in jail?
If they find him in contempt of court because of the gag order.
Going to jail, then what's that going to do? That's not going to do. They're going to say house arrest, and he's going to violate that. You know what I'm saying? He ain't going to jail. That's what people. If they could put him in jail, he'd be there already, bro. Believe that.
He wants to be in jail. But anyways, Casey,
but
go
it'll
ahead.
never happen.
I want them to lock him up. The reason
Me too.
why is I want an elected president from the people to be like, you know what? No, that person that you just locked up, we're going to insert him as president. As much as I'm still not a super Trump fan, I would love to see that happen and see all the liberals cry. That's what I want to see.
Bonnie, thanks for letting me know. Sorry, I did an interview earlier today where I had
Low.
to jack my mic up. So now it's better. Should be a little bit better right now. Sorry about that.
It's a little low.
It's really
Now it's low.
Yeah.
Screw you, Bonnie. I want to do what Kevin Hart did, the whole roast on Tom Brady. Like whenever there was just a moment he didn't know what to do. Fuck you, Tom. Anyways, that was so good. All right. So what will
like
happen?
Kevin Hart, by the way. We're not going to talk about him on this show because he's one of them devils.
God, he's funny
One
though.
of the devils?
He's one of them devils.
He does have those eyes. Like there's a lot of pain behind those eyes, but I
You
think
heard
it's
what he did
hilarious.
with Diddy? We'll talk about it on the conspiracy show later tonight.
He
But you know
diddled
what he did
Diddy?
with Diddy?
Later
Yeah.
tonight.
Did he diddle? Did he diddle Diddy?
Maybe not tonight, but tomorrow night. We can do it tomorrow night because I know this is a lot. You know, it's a lot to do, but I like doing it, and I had some weird stuff to talk about. So whatever, we could do it another
We're
night.
talking about some diddling. All right. Got
Diddle
it.
diddles. Little diddle. There's some good Diddy jokes during the roast too. Free, what do you think about the gag order across the board?
Well, I was hoping that Stormy Daniels would get the gag order because I'm sure she's gotten the gag order before. But
I see what
Joke's
you did
on
there.
you. She doesn't have a gag reflex.
yeah. So that's why they have to order it because it's acting. But Eric Adams said, the mayor said that the jail's ready for Trump, which I thought was very Real Housewives of him, to announce that ahead of time. And but I don't think the Secret Service lets him go to jail. So I think it's all a moot point.
The American people ain't gonna let him go to jail. That's what people don't realize. And forget the Secret Service. The American people will not let Trump go to jail. Guaranteed.
I mean,
What are
Trump,
the American people going to do, Cash?
yeah, we don't do anything. We're once bitten, twice shy from January 6th. We think that if we pee on the sidewalk, we're going to get arrested for domestic terrorism.
That's what.
Nobody's going to do shit if he goes to jail, but all we'll do is it will affect the polls even more. It looks even more ridiculous, which also proves he's had 10 contempts in 13 days. There's nothing that he can do. Like he might as well just do whatever the hell he wants because they're not going to be able to enforce it. There's no rules. He's the judge Douche Merchan has lost full control of this case. Today is a perfect example. Stormy Daniels should have been silenced multiple times, and she wasn't.
Yes. Well, and Trump even said so. He's not going to shut up. He knows it's on his side. So he's just going to keep going. And as they put the pedal to the floor, he's going to just gain in the polls, gain more, and the left is not going to be able to do anything about it.
I have an interesting prediction.
Let's hear it.
All right, let's hear it.
Well, because of what Monica Lewinsky did to Bill by coming out and throwing out his business like that, which was totally not cool, by the way. Hillary Clinton has a vendetta against her. And one day we're going to hear on the news that Monica Lewinsky has been unalived. Mark my words. It's going to be conspiracy theories behind it because we know Hillary don't let nothing go.
Is she
Except
going to
for
be
you.
like the
Except
maid of the
Dick.
house or something that went on a paddleboard out in the
I
ocean?
don't know.
The
She's
jab.
going to be unalive. She's going to unalive herself with like 4 shots to the back.
By the way, have you guys all saw Chris Cuomo come out and say that he's stabbed, injured? You've seen that, right?
I did not.
No.
Yeah, you what? I had it on the Instagram. He actually had a whole thing. He came out on News Nation and he talked about the fact that, hey, why are we not allowed to share these results? Like people are all saying they're injured all over the country. There was a doctor that actually was in the hospital and he goes, I myself have blood work that is no longer the way that it's supposed to be. Why are we not allowed to talk about these V injuries? And I was like, what? is happening right now. There is a God.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
So what is he like? Chris Cuomo, is he cool now, or what's going on with him?
I mean, he's not cool. He'll never be cool. But he's, at least he's making.
I kind of liked him before when he was on CNN. I'm just throwing it out there. I just didn't believe anything he said. But he's a great personality.
Oh,
I posted that he's got a knack for being on the wrong side of literally everything. And like, here we go again. Literally always on the wrong side of everything.
Oh, guys, I'm looking at our numbers right now. We keep forgetting to say this every week, but obviously we've got somebody from X. Casey literally takes X deep throat down his mouth. He loves X. It looks like we got a lot of followers on X. So guys, 86
we just
people
say
are watching.
Freedom. That's all we need to talk about.
Freedom?
Yeah.
Freedom. So guys, do us a huge favor. I know a lot of you guys are watching on The Truth Will Set You Free. Be the Change page on Twitter, whatever the hell it's called. God, I hate that. X. Just actually follow the page. There's some good content on there. So do me a little favor, follow the page, and that'll be an easy way to find us. Because honestly, we'd rather just be doing a show on Rumble, on X, Pilled, and avoiding these. Can I ask a dumb question about Rumble? How is it that if Rumble, random question, would you pay $1.99? Would you pay $1.99 a month for Rumble if it functioned half as good as YouTube did?
No, I don't like Rumble.
Why not?
It just sounds stupid. I don't like the setup. And Dan Bongino's real big on there, and I think he's
because he's part owner. He's part owner.
Yeah,
I know that. He's a mega douche. So I don't really.
I'm saying if it were you're pointing out some of the issues that we have with the functionality. I think it functions like a third world site. If it functioned half as good as YouTube, I'd be willing to pay $1.99 a month for it, but it functions like an absolute ass shit show.
Well, that's also because you watch Steven Crowder on it. And Steven Crowder is way too big for Rumble.
Right.
Way too big.
Well, no, I watched Awaken with JP and I still had issues with that show as well.
It's an echo chamber over there. I don't like it.
What does that mean? Anybody know what this means? Russo needs to file a Brooke Jackson case against Pfizer and others for hoax. Not sure what it is. What I will tell you is Peter McCullough, who's been an outspoken voice, continues to talk about the fact that right now, like under the radar, the myocarditis rates are, once I said it, I'm sure nobody's going to be able to watch anymore, but the rates are absolutely through the roof right now. And he goes, none of this is ever, he goes, I've treated 2 people in my practice up until however many years ago. Now he's got hundreds.
What's that?
Myocarditis.
Is that something with the heart?
Yeah, that's, see,
I've been having some real weird chest pains. I ain't going to sit here and lie. I'll be trying to cover it up.
You better be suing that government.
I'm so serious, bro. I've been having some weird chest pains, like palpitations, and then like a sharp pain, like somebody stabbed me in my heart. Literally, that's what it feels like.
Okay, you need to get some of remember we have Dr. Artis as our thing. They have the cleanse, the spike protein cleanse. So you're having spike protein that's probably causing some clotting. Let's move on before we whatever. Talk to me after we'll talk after the show. Right. We'll get you some of those spike protein cleanse things. I guess now that I'm talking about it, go ahead, Free.
When Cash gets the medical show, can I come on that one too? I want to hear Cash go through the myocarditis or whatever that is. I think me and him.
What happens is the Democrat juices that they pumped into your veins runs all the way up to your blood. And when it gets in your blood, it goes for the main artery, which goes all the way into your heart. The big one, not the little one, goes into the big valve, not the little valve, and it clogs it up. Because once that big valve goes, well, there goes your heart. Don't let them Democrat juices jump up in your bloodstream no more. Clear it out with Spike Protein Cleanse.
That was a pretty good commercial right there.
That was good. That was really good.
All right, let's we're going to talk, really quick before we get off the Trump trials. There's some new stuff with Jack Smith. I saw somebody put it in the comments as well. Can you give us the update on that? Their major chest pains?
Why?
I can't even hear you.
Yeah. Anyway, what I was going to tell you was about Jack Smith is I guess it just came out that this man admitted, right? He admitted that he mishandled this. This is the kind way of saying I tampered with evidence and put stuff where it wasn't supposed to be to make Trump look bad. He mishandled some of the classified documents, which were declassified by Trump on the 19th of January, right? But they placed them literally on purpose. The way they placed them, the FBI placed these things how they did so they can get pictures of it to show in court. And this stuff is just coming out.
So this is from micromsn.com. So this is as middle ground left as you can get. A new document has surfaced in connection with former President Donald Trump's classified documents trial has revealed an issue some experts say could become important. Shocking. Could be important. Special counsel Jack Smith has revealed that at some point after boxes of documents were seized from Trump's Mar-a-Lago estate, the order of the documents changed, which the court did not learn about until now. The revelation was contained in a new court filing. The filing concerned a claim from a defendant, Walt Nuada, that he needs more time to know which documents seized from Trump's Mar-a-Lago estate were in which boxes and the order of the boxes, the order of the document in the boxes. The filing admitted that the current order does not match scans that were made earlier. Typically, if this is anybody else, by the way, this would be deemed a mystery. It'd be done. The case would be closed. This is a mishandling of documents of this magnitude means it's done. You screwed up. Like
yeah, they're tampered with.
If it's all tampered, if somebody comes into a house of a murder investigation and they make this big of a mistake, the murderer gets off. Not saying that Trump's a murderer. I'm saying at this point, there's no case. You lost your case. It's done. You screwed up, Jack. And they're considering potentially their people are calling for his arrest because tampering to this level, that is actual election interference. I would consider that treason. That there's a lot to this that I think is more than meets the eye. So
wouldn't be considered treason. But
why not?
Well, because treason is like when you work with another government against your own government, correct?
Treason's only war. It's only in war, like an act of war. That in the government, the government's definition is it has to be related to war. Like
with a war with you conspiring with the other government or helping them in any kind of way against your own government.
Well, treason can mean multiple things. Treason. On its face,
not in the legal sense of being charged. Can't charge them with that. We can possibly hit them with seditious conspiracy, like they hit a couple of my people with.
Okay, the crime, but if you are, but it is the key, is the linchpin behind treason. What you guys are saying is saying that it's aiding another country because technically
going against your own country or helping.
But this is going against our own country's constitution as a free and fair election. And if he's going against it by altering a case against Donald Trump, who is running for president, treason is the crime of attacking a state authority to which which one owes allegiance. I don't know.
Two things, Russo. We always are in a state of war because our government will never get out of war. And two, we always establish a state of emergency for our country. And so that is how they are always able to establish emergency acts and act as we are in a state of war. And so they can apply certain rights and laws against us that don't actually establish if we are not in the state of war.
Got it. Okay. Anyways, just either way, it's pretty serious. And of course, I'm sure the best thing that's going to happen is that case goes away. Again, it's so silly at this point. And again, I wanted Cash to bring that up because I will be talking on Stacey on the Right later this evening from 9 to 9:30 Central Time. So
where is Stacey on the Right?
So the Patriot on Sirius XM.
I'm with you on the treason thing, but the key word in there is war. So it's only a war type thing, but like there needs to be a charge that matches tampering with the government, tampering with foundational things with the government. Like if every one of those FBI agents that planted those boxes and tampered with that stuff, if they all knew that they could be charged with something with a punishment on the level of treason, they'd say hell no. And the same with election interference. Any like sort of election fraud, if you knew you could go to jail for life for election fraud, you wouldn't do it. Like all these people making minimum wage or, 40 grand a year or whatever, working for Fannie Willis or whatever they're doing, like they'd be like, no thanks for 40
She's in the hot seat too.
Yeah, you're not getting me to do it.
She might be getting some charges filed against her. Just saying.
But nothing ever happens. Like literally nothing ever happens. We see
You're right.
treason all the time and nothing happens.
Well, just to throw that out there, treason's penalty is death. I don't know if everyone is aware of that.
Because it's war. Yeah, treason is, but we haven't been at war since World War II.
In that sense.
I was born in a war.
We haven't declared war since World War II.
Treason's penalty. I'm just looking at different things. Anyways, but there's either way, it's a big deal. You've got Fannie Willis falling apart. You got Jack Smith's falling apart. You've got the New York one boggled my mind that they still were able to fine him all that money, and even though it was a bond, which I think is ridiculous. But this is the one I'm concerned about. It is the dumbest of all of them, but it's the most likely to lead to a conviction. Last question on this topic: if he is convicted of this hush money trial, whatever the punishment is, which I'm sure is a financial, whatever it is, if he's punished of this, if he's convicted of this, what does that mean for the election?
Absolutely nothing. Nothing at all.
So it is a farce that you cannot run for president if you've been convicted of a felony.
There's nothing written down in our founding fathers documents.
Only insurrection. Insurrection's the only thing that disqualifies you from being president.
So that would be the Georgia case, but wait, that actually is not in the Georgia case. That was removed before all the 91 counts. That's not one of the 91 counts. So if he gets convicted of everything out there under the sun, he can still not only run, but also be the president of the United States of America.
Yes.
Well, the one thing is the states like Maine, like I was talking about, and Colorado, they all filed those and then withdrew them, but they're filed and they all have the insurrection thing in them. So
I was about to say, I think that's even new, because there's nothing written that if you've been convicted of an insurrection that you can't run for president. That's not nowhere. Maybe in state legislation, like you just said, but not in federal. It's nowhere in the Constitution. It's not.
It's in an amendment.
I'm looking it up.
16th Amendment, I believe. 14th.
Natural born.
I think it would keep him from voting. Not being voted for.
You can be president, but you can't vote for yourself. What the?
Yeah.
Some weird shit.
It's Section 3 of the 14th Amendment. No person shall be a senator or a representative in Congress or elector of president or vice president or hold any office, civil or military, under the United States or under any state who, having previously taken an oath as a member of Congress or as an officer of the United States or as a member of any state legislature or executive or judicial office of any state to support the Constitution of the United States, shall have engaged in insurrection or rebellion against the same, or given aid or comfort to the enemies thereof.
No, so he's good. He can run.
Yeah, he's good. Cash, you want to answer this real quick before we go on to the next topic? I don't know anything
about. I have no idea what's going on in Dalton, but I will check it out.
I know that one.
Do you really?
Yeah, I'm from Chicago.
Oh.
The Dalton mayor is the one that she misused all the funds, and she had her assistant was her hairdresser and makeup artist, and so she like hired people and did all this weird stuff, and she'd show up in these like $1,000 outfits and her hair all done and stuff, and I think they found like tens of thousands of dollars already of misappropriated funds. And
that's Dalton though. You already know, you from the land, so
exactly.
That's Dalton.
It's very Dalton.
Yeah.
So somebody asked about the charges revealed against former Trump chief of staff on Arizona fake elector case. It's about Mark Meadows. Mark Meadows has been under attack since 2020. So if you want to know the news behind it, again, I don't know the actual truth because I haven't gotten deep into it. Chief of staff, former President Donald Trump faces the same conspiracy, fraud, and forgery charges as the other named defendants in Arizona's fake elector case, the state attorney general office said. So he was brought into that same trial for the fake electors in Arizona, whatever that trial is. So, I know a little bit about it, but that's about it. All right. Let's see what we're getting into next. We got to talk obviously about what's going on in the Middle East, the ceasefire that was not. Before we get into that, since we're easing into that, Cash, I saw you did a couple lives with Corey. How was that?
It was fun.
Was it anything else? What did you guys talk about?
Israel.
I know that. What kind of what topics on Israel?
I just had to, put him up on game a little bit, little banter back and forth about if Israel was always Israel or if Palestine was always Palestine. And I had to give him the history about how Palestine actually has never really been Palestine. It was called that. Like you could look up on a map or on a Bible and see Palestine written there, but there was actually no, where they're called, what they're saying from the river to the sea, it's never existed. It was my whole point. From the river to the sea has never existed for Palestine. It's not a thing. It's always only existed in the West Bank and Gaza. Those two places, they are where the Palestinians lived. Well, what we call Palestinians today, before you would call them what? Philistines or
Philistines.
Philistines. Yeah. So we got into that, and then I had to, give him a couple references, and he gave me a couple references, and he just wanted to talk about all the recent modern day deaths of the people of Palestine, which I understand that. I get it. But if you keep going back, you can see how it was both of them going at each other in all of those instances. And not even just that, but prior to that, I made a valid point to him. I said, how come they're still there if they've been there? And how come these people are gone? Whenever somebody invaded that land, who always got kicked out? Who always had to run and flee?
Jews.
Exactly. So, and then even going deeper than that, when you dig up things over there, artifacts, all throughout history, when you dig up anything that's got to do with over there, you always find Jewish culture, or what we call today Jewish culture. The people of that land from a long time ago, their culture is deep down in the dirt. Everything that gets dug up over there has to do with something from Judaism or the Bible, however you want to look at it, but it's proof that has been their land. This is where they have been. So for anybody who makes the claim that they shouldn't be there, or that's stolen land, or however you want to decide to try to, look at that, historically, it's always been their land, proven by artifacts that get dug up and the dating that is on them. And then also the river to the sea thing has never been for Palestine. So why would it be now, or why should it be now if that has already been proven to be their land historically throughout all the artifacts before nations were actually a thing?
Spot on. So here's what before we really get on topic, and you did a good job giving a little what you were, great scope. And I remember you posted a little bit about that. I think I even shared it on the Truth page, but Corey is really fun to have on a show. He's great to have in live conversation. Corey is a dip fuck when it comes to messaging. And I go and that's why Corey and I used to get into it before I had him on the show. He's a great guy. And I realized that that's a problem. It's a problem that when him and I got it, the conversation I had, I wasn't fighting about the current situation. I was correcting what he was wrong on. And he had an inability. And I said, you lose credibility when you have an inability to realize you're blatantly wrong about something. He was talking with somebody. He loves being on lives with people that aren't smart. He loves it because then he's able to mislead, misguide, misinform. And he was talking about gay people and Hamas. And he was saying in this live that the West is behind in how they treat the LGBT community compared to Palestinians. Said, I'm watching this and I'm like, he's whatever. And he ends up pulling up a piece of data for himself and he reads it and he qualifies it, but he was incorrect because his geography was wrong. It was talking about the West Bank being very open to LGBTQ as opposed to the East Bank, which is actually Palestine. West Bank is under Jewish rule. That's very open-minded. And then when I started messaging him, he became an asshole to the point where I'm like, this is the old version of you. When you are, there is a sociopathic case that I can make for people like Corey when they are behind a computer screen and not having to show their face.
I think things get misconstrued through text. I don't think he means it to be a jerk. I think that's just,
No, I'm gonna disagree. That's where he is. It's not him. It's everybody. It is that philosophy that, and again, I really enjoy talking to him live. But when it comes to text, there is an inability to be human. There was nothing human about him in the conversation. And he said things back to me. He's like, "You're the one that escalated this." I absolutely did not. I will go through it. I was correcting his incorrect concept. I go, I'm
I
not
get
even
what you
talking
mean,
about that.
because in the comments he said when we were on the live, I think he was saying something about how could they're all Semitic people, so how could they be anti-Semitic? And I had to break it down. I said, well, this is what you're not understanding. All right, so if you do the history of what we call the Jews today, before we would get there, I told him, where does Semitic come from? It comes from Shem. Shem was one of Noah's sons. Noah had 3 sons. From Shem, you got Abraham, right? Abraham created Hebrews. So even though they're all Semitic, now you have a separate group called Hebrews. And that comes from his son Eber. I would assume Eber, Hebrew. And then from Hebrew, you got the Israelites from Jacob. Jacob was Israel. He had 12 sons, which one of them sons was named Judah, where you get the term Jew from. They were Yehudites. All right, but there were 12 sons, and all of them were the Israelites. So all of them were Israelites. All of them were also Hebrew, and then all of them were also Semitic. So outside of them sons from Shem, all the other kids that Shem had would be considered Semitic, but not all of them descendants would be considered Hebrew, and not all of them descendants would be considered Israelites. So when they talk about anti-Semitic, they're not talking about the sons of Shem. What they're really saying is the sons of Jacob. They're racist towards them, and I had to break it down to him. Give him a little lesson.
Well, I hope he listened to you. And again, I think you were on a live show, so it's different because he is much different on that. But I was basically trying to explain to him that his commentary that Hamas, Palestine is okay with the LGBT community, whatever, is ridiculous. And he would send me references that I was able to screenshot those same references right back to him. And instead he would, and it was like in the documents about how the West, and he was still thinking that our country is horrible to LGBTQ compared to those. And I'm like, you're high, like you're wrong. Like this is just blatantly wrong. And I was using his own information to show him, and he refused to admit it. And instead he was just, it was so inflammatory. And I'm like, I'm seeing this huge, it was an epiphany, and we've had it before, that these little devices allow people to say the stupidest shit and have no accountability for it. So that's
I'm gonna tell you right now, you better not be part of that community and go over there to Palestine. You better not.
You be dead.
You better not. That's all I'm gonna say.
You be dead. And then
especially if they follow Sharia law. You better stay far away from there.
He sent me one funny one where it's like he showed me that over there was a Palestinian that had a sex change. He was like a 12-year-old, and that there was 100 people that had it. And I read the article that he sent the headline on, and they've exiled, they fled to the West Bank, and they had Jewish doctors perform this surgery. Like,
well, I got to argue against this comment down there in the comment section. It says, if an alternate lifestyle person goes to Israel, they will be thrown off of a building, and they are more against the gays. Well, true fact. Look this up. Israel is actually the gay capital of the world. There are more gay people in Israel. Like, they celebrate it more than anywhere. Did you know that?
Not any more than the United States of America. There's a whole gay rating.
Oh, no. Look it up.
They just had their first. Israel just had their first Pride Parade in 2019. They're very pro LGBTQ, not as much as our country, but
it's not really our country though. Come on, it's not really our country. It's little pockets. If you want to go there, you say it's Hollywood. Hollyweird. They really promote it over that way.
That's where I was going to correct you. That's not our country. That's what the media and our government try, the propaganda they're pushing, but that is not majority of our country.
Can you get married in Israel? I still think that pro-gay marriage is most of even conservatives that way.
Freedom.
It's not that I'm pro-gay marriage. Let me correct this real quick. It's not that I'm pro-gay marriage, because I'm not. Okay, I am not pro-gay marriage, but I just don't care enough to give it any thought. If they want to go and make themselves unhappy for the rest of their life, go for it. That's fine with me. I don't have a problem with it, but I'm not for it. I don't support it. Simple as that. All they say about Israel
is that the LGBT rights in Israel are considered the most developed in the Middle East, not in the world, Middle East. But again, we're good with this. Let's move on. Let's talk about. I
got one thing on this. If I can jump in. Yeah. Well, first off, the gays for Hamas. Why don't they call themselves the Hamos? I mean, I feel like they missed
that is branding. So good.
I feel like they missed a branding opportunity there.
That was good.
And then to get myself out of trouble here, marriage is a sacrament in your church. The government should have nothing to do with it. So this is just another boogeyman thing where they want the right to look like bigots and homophobes, and they want the left to, feel like they're victims. And that's how they pit the two sides against each other. Marriage is not a government issue. They have no business knowing whether you're married, not married, who you're leaving your stuff to, who can visit you in the hospital, any of that stuff.
Yeah, when did that happen? That's not even cool. I don't like that. I'd rather just go get married in a church and not have to go to the courthouse and give the government any papers.
It's a contract, right? Like from the government standpoint, it's a contract. Like if you die, your stuff goes to this person. They can make medical decisions for you if you're incapacitated. You should be able to sign that contract with anyone you want, whether it be a significant other or a family member or a child or whatever. Like you should be able to sign any contract you want with anybody. If you want to leave all your stuff to your cat, go for it.
Leave it right, meow. All right, let's get really into this. The ceasefire, there was a ceasefire called for. There's not a lot of details on it. And the ceasefire was by Egypt, Saudi Arabia, and Palestine, Gaza, Hamas, whatever. They're the ones putting it all together. And I said, you know what? I've said this for a while ago. I will be against what's going on in Israel, what Israel is doing. If there's a call for a ceasefire and all of the prisoners, all of the kidnapped hostages are returned. That's not what this ceasefire is showing. It's a graduated response of, I think they said first there's 33, maybe the 33 dead ones they give back first. They're kind of admitting their dead number, which that's not just, there's no way to negotiate. That's not a way to lead in. Like it should just be like, we're getting our asses handed to us. This is unfortunate. You've now breached the other side of Gaza, and we're in a linchpin. You've got all of our citizens pretty much trapped at this point. No other country will take us. And I think that ultimately, I don't know what Benjamin Netanyahu wants. Again, not a huge fan of Bibi, but if he wants Hamas to step down, shouldn't he be a hero of the Palestinian people?
Hey, not for nothing, but do you know what the old Palestinian flag used to look like?
I don't.
You know what certain star they had on it?
I don't. Was it a Jewish star?
I don't know. You tell me when you look it up.
I'm looking it
Just
up right
saying.
now. Do you want, Casey, if you find it, you want to put it up?
I'll look for it.
Just saying.
Old Palestinian flag.
Yo, I'm just saying, bro, this whole thing, for me, it seems more and more like two corrupt ass governments in cahoots with each other to exterminate people so they can clear out some land and create some beachfront property. That's how I look at it.
With the American government.
Oh, look at that. That's interesting.
Interesting.
With the American government making everything worse. The American foreign affairs is like the turd in the punch bowl. Like it's always like, oh, we're involved in that. We're probably doing a lot of bad stuff on both sides. Yeah. So I could see how that's going poorly. It's like that friend you have that, like, if there's a fight and then you find out that friend was involved, you're like, ooh, that changes a lot. Like they probably started it and they might have deserved it. And that's America and foreign affairs.
Yeah. So all I can say with the ceasefire is, and I'm surprised it's not more news. I think there should be more talked about. The reason it's not being more talked about is how Hamas is admitting that they've got 33 dead Jewish bodies on their hands. That's part of what they're giving back. I don't think people want to hear that. We talk about the crimes against humanity and the quote unquote genocide. What happened to the Jews? And they're still being hostages.
No, but look, this is my whole thing, though, bro. The whole point of me showing that flag, right?
Yeah.
I wanted people to see that flag because at that point in time in that country, the people, regular people like me and you, Anthony, we're supposed to not like each other if we listen to politics because you're a lighter skinned American and I'm a darker skinned American, right? But in our everyday life, you're my brother. I see you all the time. We hang out, we talk, and everything's fine. But the government, we'll call them the parents, don't want you hanging out with me because they have something that they want to place in your head to make you feel some type of way about me because of my appearance, even though you know I'm cool as hell. In the same way, when my parents don't want me hanging out with you because of your appearance and you practice a different religion and we're not supposed to be talking to you. So they want me to believe something different about you, even though I know you're cool as hell. At that time, that's exactly what was going on with them governments. The Jewish people and the Arabs that lived there, because they did not call themselves Palestinians at this time. It was not a thing. They called themselves Arabs. All right. They got along. They lived next to each other for a long, long time. Before, I'm talking about from time of the Romans forward, then people were living next to each other, practicing the same religions and protecting each other's religious freedoms. All right. Today, what we're seeing is two corrupt governments. One government was installed, so-called elected, their very first government. We know how that goes. But it's to divide the people.
Agreed.
It's plain and simple.
Yeah.
So
I gotta ask, but going with that, that's the thing. So if, I mean, again, not a fan of Benjamin Netanyahu, but if you're trying to bring people together, and the whole world, the one thing up until about 2 weeks ago, everybody was saying, well, it's not their fault that Hamas is in leadership, like they can't do whatever. If Benjamin Netanyahu is saying that's, and again, that's not confirmed. We have very little data or very little information of exactly what is being asked for by Israel, besides a return of all hostages. But I think there's more to it. It sounds like if he's trying to make sure Hamas is no longer in power and they allow for a new election, which I'm sure will be corrupt as well, but better than Hamas, better than a terrorist organization. To me, it's pretty bold. It's a pretty bold thing, and the people should be behind that.
I gotta just say, bro, I can't call Hamas a terrorist organization without calling the Israeli government a terrorist organization and without calling the American government a terrorist organization. That's not fair, because that government is the exact same, just a lot freaking weaker than these other two governments. They are the exact same.
Or the IDF. The CIA or the IDF. Like that would be the equivalence with the Hamas.
I think that's that's an interesting topic. Do you really? I mean, do I think that they are bad, corrupt, evil? United States of America. There's a lot of bad to it. I cannot put them. I think everything's got levels. Like it's a degree black belts. Like so once you get the black belt, you're terrorist. Bro.
We are the most evil government.
You think more so than Hamas?
100%. We send funding for all kinds of evil things to be done across the world. We stabilize governments and put in our own people for them people to do horrible things to their own people.
So and then we
take the leaders out when they no longer serve our best interest and destabilize the country all over again.
If Hamas were sponsors like soccer teams do, theirs would say CIA.
Yeah. Well, the biggest example you can look at in our recent history that all of us will remember is 9/11. And then what did we do to Iraq? We demolished that country because we believed a lie from George Bush that there is weapons of mass destruction. No other country is going around the world doing this.
You're not wrong.
They put all kinds of propaganda out about Saddam,
agree.
bro.
We are the biggest bullies on the planet.
What'd you hear about Saddam?
You say what?
What'd you say about Saddam?
I said they put all kind of propaganda out about Saddam.
Sounds familiar.
Yeah, and Saddam, let me tell you right now, if you ask any person that was a part of Iraq, any person, older or younger, they loved him. They loved him as a leader. He took care of them people. But we demonized him and made our people believe that he was gassing his own people.
One of the ones I'm working on right now is this just came out that the Afghanistan war, the military-industrial complex made over $2 trillion off of it.
Wow.
So if you ever want to know what it's about, CIA and money are usually part of the formula.
Gaddafi, one of the best leaders ever. The only reason they killed that dude, bro, is because number one, he looked out for his people crazy. He showed how the government can literally take care of the people using the people's money, and they all put it back into their own country, right? He was going to create a centralized bank of Africa based off the mineral resources of the land and bankrupt the entire freaking world, bro. That's what he was going to do. That's why they killed him. That's why they took him out. He didn't do nothing wrong to his people. He was a great leader.
The best leader in the world.
Public knowledge now.
Is Javier Milei, however you say his last name, from Argentina. He is doing things that all of our countries in this world should be doing, which is decentralizing and shutting down the system. And that is the sign of what needs to be done. And our country is fearful of what's going on in Argentina because of how many of us are paying attention to what's going on over there and loving it. The U.S. hasn't attacked them yet because they don't know how to handle with this data. They can't.
All right. So real quick, guys, a couple different things before we head out. We'll say a couple more things before we're out. But for the water, guys, Century H2O, use Russo 10% off. It's not a bottle like this. It's actually an under sink system. It is the best. Oh, that's made national news, by the way. Oh, we're not done yet, guys. We're gonna really quick talk about Kathy Hochul. So make sure we're gonna end the show with a bang with Kathy Hochul being racist out loud. But Century H2O, use Russo 10 for 10% off at checkout. It is an under-sink system. They have actually they're donating 2,000, and somebody else is stepping up to donate another 2,000 to East Palestine of these units that will go underneath the sink. It's been on OAN. It's been on a bunch of different news. So they're doing the right thing, and these are the best under-sink filtration systems you can get. Use Russo 10 for 10% off at checkout. As always, the merch we wear, Casey's got the They Both Suck for all of our libertarian followers that are here because of Free and Casey. More power to you. They both suck.
Cash, you love this shirt.
It is
that is actually one of my favorite shirts.
I agree. Check out the merch. Go to awakenowwokestore.com. Use Truth for 20% off everything in the store. What else we got? And then, of course, coming up right after this, Cash, what do we got?
We are going to be doing a live Zoom meeting for anybody who wants to join and learn more about what we are all a part of with Shopping American, Made in America. It's the best way to go. It's the most patriotic thing you can do with your dollar. If you want to protest, that's the way to do it. Protest with your dollar. Stop giving your money to all these woke corporations that try to push these things on us that we just don't believe in. Some of the things that we talked about tonight, they support, and we don't. We support America, American values, and American made. So if you are interested, join us tonight in our live Zoom meeting. They're going to post up the Zoom link if you want to get it, or if you've already filled out the freedomboxinfo.com jot form, then you should be having it.
And I'm going to go ahead and put that in the chat right now for everybody. The link is in there, and there you go. There's the Zoom link if you want to find it. Anyways, all right, real quick. Did I forget? And did I leave anything out? Oh, we got the food cover, but let's get into it real fast. Do you have the video pulled up, Kathy? Of Kathy?
The video, Kathy? I have it. I can pull it up real quick.
Go ahead and pull that up real fast. And
Casey, you got mine too?
Yes. When we could do we'll close out. You're ready.
Perfect.
All right. Where's the last thing? For the food, high quality ground beef. Go to griddownshowdown.com/truth. Use Truth for 15% off at checkout. This is the same as the Buy Patriot Supply, all that stuff, but it's just high quality grass-fed, grass-finished ground beef. That if the end of the world is coming, fucking get some of the Grid Down Showdown. So there you go. Great guys that run the company too. All right, let's get into the hoaxster.
Yeah. So this lady, as some of you might have saw earlier today when I posted this video, we're surprised and just very happy that Cash was able to make it on tonight because per her, it wouldn't happen. Let's give this a listen.
Young black kids growing up in the Bronx who don't even know what the word computer is. They don't know these things. And I want the world to open up to all of them, because when you have your diverse voices innovating solutions through technology, then you're really addressing society's broader challenge.
She just called me a dumb nigga. Though I'm not from the Bronx, I know a lot of brothers from the Bronx, and everybody knows what a computer is, unless they're like an infant. And even then, they can say tablet.
I mean, Cash, you're from Hammond. That's not a high socioeconomic place. There's some black people there, Latinos, all the above. Does anybody not know what a computer is?
There's not one black person in Hammond, Indiana, by the way. There's darker skinned Americans. And yes, all the darker skinned Americans there know what computers are.
How do they get away with this level of racism?
Easy. It came from the left. It's okay. You ain't black if you don't vote for me. Gonna put you back in chains. You can say all of those things if you have a D by your name.
There's what is it? The smart kids are just like what do they say? The
smart kids are can be just as smart and just as great as white
poor
kids.
Yeah, poor kids can be just as smart as white kids. Sweet Mother Mary. Yeah. Anyways, just wanted you guys to see that. This is what the other side. This is the best foot forward of the other side. We're gonna have a video that we're gonna play for free. Last thing, again, since we've got pretty much the full group, we had 145 people watching on specifically on X right now.
Can I make a point about that one? I love the part of it though that they're educating these kids and to the tune of like 30 something grand a year per kid.
Right. It's
and
so
they're
high.
Doing such a terrible job that she thinks they don't know what a computer is. Like literally the only thing she could have said that was dumber is they don't know what a book is. You know, like, I mean,
I think they've got a better chance. They got a better chance knowing what a computer is than a book, honestly. Like at this point, and the funny thing is, you're right. And I thought about that when I was listening to it earlier. We used to have the shows talking about how much funding goes into these inner city schools, and we're like, these kids need more. They need more. And I remember Kevin. We need to have Kevin back on a show. Kevin came out to me and said, "Anthony, you look it up. The inner cities receive more funding per student than anywhere else in the country. We're not pulling, it's the thing that they're being misappropriated. Who runs the school districts in the inner city areas? Democrat politicians, Democrat school boards, all that. They're misappropriating funds. So if for her to say they don't know what a computer is at $30,000 a student, maybe you need to look to the Democrat leaders that are apparently not. Every student should have some level of computing or computer she literally mapped out why she's an idiot right there.
The Chicago Public Schools, they just made a $50 billion contract demand, which would raise their average salary to, I want to say, $145,000 a year. And their mayor was a consultant for the teachers union, and that's how he became mayor, and he's a dip as well. So
I gotta say though, I agree with that. I think the teachers should get paid a high salary like that when you have NBA players and football players and soccer players and baseball players and hockey players and music artists and Cardi B, and because that's not music. When you have them all getting paid millions of dollars.
But that's economy based.
What do our service people make? Do our service people make $140 something thousand?
They should. They should.
Like, let's start with let's start with them before the teachers union, in my humble opinion.
Yeah, they're also working 9 months a year, the teachers. But you touched on a different subject, Cash, because I'm going to disagree with you, because that's the same reason I don't think the WNBA should get the same amount as the NBA. The actual money that comes in should dictate it. Now, if you're saying there should be federal funds, absolutely. Like what free? Where were you talking about? Where you said that they were getting $140,000?
Chicago.
So these are areas that have a higher cost.
One teacher in Chicago should get that.
It's more dangerous, higher cost of living. New York, higher cost of living. All of these different areas. I understand. I think 140 for a hard to teach school district, that's doable. I mean, I think they should be making a fortune? But it should not be. It should not be taxpayer based to that extent.
It should be performance based. Like something came out recently. 95 schools in Illinois did not have a single student. 95 high schools in Illinois did not have a single student in any of the 4 grades that met the math competency.
Jeez.
Not one student in the entire school. 95 schools.
That's real.
That's crazy.
That's real.
All right, we're about to wrap it up. Again, I threw this in the comments earlier since we've got a lot of people watching. If you want to get better at speaking and communication on a stage, etc., I do a free webinar on Wednesday nights. It's free. It's completely free. It's 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. It's a Zoom. It's a lot of fun. You're going to have your cameras on. There's going to be a lot of interaction, and I'm going to give 5 tips, 5 to thrive, some basics on speaking. But I would love for you guys to join me, and I'm giving away a gift for anybody that makes it all the way to the end. Hint, hint. So go ahead and hopefully I will see you guys there. Again, go to doubledownspeaking.com. Again, that's doubledownspeaking.com. All right, Casey, what do we got for free?
Yeah, free.
Yeah,
Tell us about yourself.
Yeah, no, I you guys have sponsors and stuff, and so I wanted to do a plug for myself.
Well, unfortunately, we're out of time, guys. I'm just kidding. I'm totally messing with you.
Jerk.
I didn't want you to think I wasn't big time, so I'm making a signature fragrance for Mike Johnson, and I make it in my bathtub, and it's called Swamp Ass. So it's a signature cologne for Mike Johnson. So yeah, I'll be releasing that soon. It's going to be huge.
I just have a question. Is the ass actually from the swamp, or did it just get dipped in?
It's we rub it near the
Gotcha.
liquid.
Good enough for me. I'll take 10 bottles.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
So is swass? Is there swass, swamp ass? Is there something? Can we shorten it maybe a little bit?
It's actually French. It's swampas.
Swampas. How did we finally get a we've had
some in the comments. You just didn't catch it.
I didn't see the Twitter comments, the X comments. God, it's the stupidest thing. Oh, I see Casey's comment. All right. That's all we got. Cash, one more time. Tell everybody where to meet us in 20 minutes exactly.
Meet us over there at the Zoom link that is posted inside these comments. Go ahead and post it up there one more time. Okay, you did. Thank you so much. Yeah, click on that if you guys want to join in and help us out in shopping American, supporting American-made business, and also just making your house a lot better, with better products that are safer for you and the environment, because the left, they try to say that we don't care about the environment. Well, that's just not true. We do care about the environment. We're just not fucking dumb. Sorry, I didn't mean to curse. I'm trying to be a better person.
But take us home, Cash.
Unite. Don't fight. Be a street light. Because only you could be the change you wish to see in the world. And when you get too stressed out, you got to remember to pray, America, because without God, everything falls apart, and that's a fact.
Woo!
Yeah, brother.
I don't have the screen I can put in front of us, but usually we'd be talking right now. So there you go. Oh, there it is.
There you go. I'll control it.
All right, there you go.
Because Russo's Mac is woefully inadequate.
I'm on. It's StreamYard.
No, but you know what though? You do need to switch that up, bro. You can't be running around here with that. It's got an apple bitten on it. That's a sign of the devil, and you just love it.
Why don't you just take Gates' dick down your throat?
Because I do not enjoy that community of people in that way.
We like them, but we don't enjoy them. I got it. Okay.
No. I don't enjoy them in that way. Like, so I'm entertained. I like the the funny stuff that gets said, and their fashion sense is pretty on point.
What do you mean funny? What do you mean funny haha or funny queer?
Like both. Like, don't say that. That's funny when they talk like that. It's just like they have their own language.
God, you are such a homophobic piece of